Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson ever happen?
Of course. Why not?
Really, because the way that I would probably construct the agreement with Shakur is if that has to be on a PBC show.
The most anticipated fight between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Tank Davis will be finalized in the first quarter of 2025.
Fight, I believe we should go straight into the Gervonta Davis fight, and that will be the biggest fight in boxing.
William Zepeda, Gervonta Davis. For me, once we've done our work over that 6-month period, Gervonta Davis against Shakur Stevenson will be the biggest fight in boxing.
Well, recently, Shakur Stevenson parted ways with Top Rank after completing his contract, which ended with a unanimous decision win over Artem Harutyunyan in July 2024. He explored free agency and ultimately signed a deal with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing. Eddie Hearn spoke about how, despite Shakur Stevenson not being under contract with Matchroom for many years, he had often praised the fighter's abilities publicly. Hearn highlighted his respect for Stevenson, calling him an outstanding talent and suggesting that he had in a way been promoting Stevenson unofficially by speaking so highly of him. He said, "I kind of feel like I've been promoting Shakur Stevenson for years anyway, even though he wasn't under contract. I've always spoke so highly of him. I think he's an outstanding fighter." Eddie Hearn expressed his confidence in quickly securing a deal with Shakur Stevenson. He mentioned how he met with Stevenson's advisors, Josh Dubin and Jay Prince, and was able to put together a fast, short-term contract. This 2-fight deal includes matchups with Joe Cordina and William Zepeda. Hearn then emphasized that after these fights, he believes Stevenson should move on to Tank.
When his contract was up with Top Rank, I met with Josh Dubin and Jay Prince, two very, very good guys. And we put together a fast deal and a quick deal and a short deal of 2 fights. Joe Cordina and Jose Zepeda, if he comes through Cordina. And then I believe he should move on and fight Tank. But
Eddie Hearn stressed the importance of building a connection between Shakur Stevenson and the fans, saying they need time to get to know and trust him. He believed the next 2 fights would serve that purpose and hoped that this process would lead Stevenson to spend the rest of his career with Matchroom. He added, "Give them the opportunity to learn about you and to trust you, and we'll do that over the coming 2 fights, and hopefully he can spend his whole career with Matchroom." Shakur Stevenson turned down a significant offer from Top Rank, around $15 million for a 5-fight contract, because he believed his value had grown beyond what was being offered. Eddie Hearn addressed the rumors circulating about Shakur Stevenson's earnings, clarifying that while the figures being reported were inaccurate, Stevenson was still earning a substantial amount. Hearn avoided revealing the exact sum but dismissed the idea of publicly sharing financial details, explaining that it's inappropriate to delve into someone's finances without their consent.
he's making a lot of money. The number's wrong, but so
How far off is it?
talking about Shakur, I mean, I'm not going to start going through your bank account and telling everyone how much you make and asking you questions. So why should we do that about Shakur Stevenson? So
Then Hearn emphasized that Stevenson's worth is justified by his talent. He highlighted that there is a clear plan to increase Stevenson's earnings in future fights, particularly in the anticipated bout against William Zepeda. According to Hearn, Stevenson's immense skill and potential in the sport make him a highly valuable fighter. He mentioned, "He's making a lot of money for this fight. There's a plan that he makes even more money for the Zepeda fight. The kid is worth a lot of money because he's a hell of a fighter." He felt that Top Rank was not doing enough to secure career-defining fights for him, such as matchups against Vasyl Lomachenko or Gervonta Davis. Despite the substantial sum, Stevenson opted to explore free agency, ultimately deciding to sign with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing. He believed that Matchroom would provide better opportunities for major bouts and greater exposure. Leonard Ellerbe expressed confidence in Tank's plans, describing his aggressive mindset. He mentioned that Davis is ready to go after every major name in boxing, and that he's moving with a purpose, carrying a hit list of opponents he intends to conquer. Ellerbe emphasized that Tank is determined to make a statement by targeting the biggest fighters in the sport.
He has a hit list, and he's going to get every one of these guys who y'all say are the top guys. Trust me. Shakur's going to get that work. He asking for it, he going to get that work. But it ain't what he think it is.
Leonard Ellerbe continued by saying that Gervonta has a clear goal to take on all the top fighters in the division. He stated that names like Shakur Stevenson, William Zepeda, and Vasyl Lomachenko are all on Tank's hit list. Ellerbe emphasized that Tank is not just aiming to compete, but to go after the best and prove himself as the top fighter in the sport.
I can't wait for it to happen, though.
How confident you are Tank could be fighting someone like a Devin Haney or a Shakur Lomachenko next. Do you see that kind of a fight happening for Tank?
Now that Shakur is moving forward with Matchroom, his first fight under this new deal is scheduled for October 12, 2024, where he will defend his WBC lightweight title against Joe Cordina in Riyadh.
Yeah, so tell me the fighters that Shakur Stevenson has beat that are better than Joe Cordina. And there ain't many of them.
Shakur Stevenson, the current WBC lightweight champion, and Joe Cordina, a former IBF champion at 130 pounds, are on the verge of a potential clash. Cordina, boasting a record of 17 wins, 1 loss, and 9 knockouts, is eyeing a move up to the 135-pound weight class to secure this fight. Cordina has been pushing for this fight for the past 2 years. In a recent podcast, he made it clear that if this matchup happens, he won't back down, expressing his readiness and determination to take on Stevenson despite the weight jump.
If that fight's there, then it's there. Obviously, I've made it known before that I won that fight. He mentioned he was at super featherweight, and then he said at a catch weight as well. So, but if I come up to lightweight, there's no need for a catch weight. We can make a fight happen. But
Kenny Ellis, Gervonta Davis's coach, kept it clear on Joe vs. Shakur's fight and mentioned that Cordina recently suffered a loss and underwent surgery on his right hand. He expressed uncertainty about whether Cordina would be at his best during the fight and raised concerns about whether he might hesitate to use his right hand due to the surgery. Ellis believed that these factors could work in Shakur Stevenson's favor, making it an easier fight for him. He said, "I just heard he came off a loss and he had hand surgery as well on his right hand. So I don't know if he'll be 100% in the fight. Is he going to be afraid to throw the right hand? We just don't know until the time comes. So, I think Shakur can beat him easy." Kenny Ellis added that Shakur Stevenson has already demonstrated his capabilities as a 3-time champion. Ellis emphasized that it's about giving fans what they want, which is an exciting fight with more action in it. He pointed out that boxing fans either expect a knockout or a thrilling match from start to finish, underscoring the high expectations that come with the sport.
But so what they say, that's what they say, prove himself. But, let him tell it, he already proved himself. Well, giving the fans what they want to see, put it like that. He is a 3-time champion, good fighter, hell of a boxer, but, the fans want to see something. And it's not me trolling, it's just the reality of the sport. The fans, they want to see a knockout.
Eddie Hearn expressed his admiration for Joe Cordina's technical skills, describing him as a talented and skilled fighter who would feel rejuvenated at the 135-pound division. Hearn emphasized that Cordina has a point to prove after his recent loss, but he will be up against one of the best fighters in the world, Shakur Stevenson. He noted that Stevenson is, in his view, a top 5 pound-for-pound boxer, making this an extremely tough challenge for Cordina.
Cordina is a very, very good operator. He's a very, very good technician. And he'll be feeling refreshed at 135 pounds with a point to prove. But he is facing, in my opinion, definitely pound for pound top 5 in Shakur Stevenson. And the plan for us...
At the same time, Stevenson pointed out that since William Zepeda isn't ready to fight, whoever steps in next, whether Cordina or another opponent, will face his best effort. Shakur Stevenson also shared his thoughts against his opponent and claimed that Cordina is a talented fighter, but emphasized that Cordina was weakening himself by fighting in a weight class that didn't suit him. By stepping up to 135 pounds, Cordina may be better prepared physically, and Stevenson made it clear that he wouldn't take him lightly. Stevenson tweeted, "He was weak fighting at 130. He's actually a really good fighter, just was himself down to make a weight he shouldn't have been making. I for sure wouldn't take dude lightly. But Zepeda doesn't want to fight just yet, so whoever it is going be, they will get this work." Now that the fight with Joe is finalized, the Tank has been ducked again. Some people call Shakur a duck, while others think that Tank failed to come to the same page. One fight after another, Shakur vs. Tank is the biggest fight that fans are looking forward to. Najeem Johns, a respected Pennsylvanian pro boxer, talked about the Tank vs. Shakur fight. He acknowledged the talent of both fighters, but leaned towards Tank coming out victorious. Johns praised Shakur's abilities, but ultimately didn't see him overcoming Davis's power and skill in the ring, highlighting Tank's proven dominance. He said, "That's a good fight. Tank is going to be Tank. I think Tank is going to come out victorious. Shakur is a great fighter himself, but I just don't see him beating Tank." Najeem Johns further elaborated on Gervonta Davis's versatile abilities, emphasizing that many people overlook Tank's boxing skills because of his knockout power. He believed that while no one has yet forced Davis to showcase his technical side, a fight with Shakur Stevenson might do just that. However, Johns also warned that one clean shot from Davis could end the fight early. He expressed his excitement for the potential matchup, stating his eagerness to see the two square off. He then added, "People don't know that Tank can box if he wants to, but nobody has brought that out of him yet. I think Shakur Stevenson might be the one to do that. He's a boxer, but Tank is a puncher. Any shot he lands on Shakur could end it early. I'm waiting for that fight. I can't wait. I want to see it." In a recent interview with Cigar Talk, Stevenson opened up about the differences between him and Davis. Shakur Stevenson reflected on the unique talents that different fighters possess, contrasting himself with Gervonta Tank Davis. He recognized Tank's knockout power, which he described as a God-given ability to end fights with a single punch. However, Stevenson emphasized his own gift, his exceptional vision in the ring. He noted that his keen eyesight allows him to detect punches and avoid them with ease, making it difficult for opponents to catch him off guard. He remarked on his abilities, saying, "People are blessed with different abilities. Tank is blessed with a God-given ability that if he cracks you, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna go down. That's his ability. I'm blessed with God-given eyes. My eyes are amazing. A lot of people don't understand how good my eyes are. I can see really well. Punches coming my way, I know how to get away from them at any given time." Shakur Stevenson discussed his belief that a fight between him and Gervonta Tank Davis is inevitable, given that both are regarded as the top fighters in their division. He explained that it would only not happen if one of them loses or avoids the fight, but he is confident that they are both at a level where a matchup is unavoidable.
Yeah, I know it's gonna happen. I mean, I'm the best, he the best. So when you got two guys that's the best, how can you not fight? Only way you could not fight if one of them guys ain't like that and somebody go off to lose or somebody take an L. But I think like with both of us, we both fighters that's really good fighters. And
Shakur Stevenson reflected on Gervonta Tank Davis's experience and boxing IQ, noting that both he and Davis have been boxing from a young age. He acknowledged Tank's strategic mindset in the ring, highlighting how Davis sets up his opponents and uses his years of experience to his advantage. Stevenson sees a lot of similarities in their backgrounds, pointing out the depth of knowledge and skill that comes from growing up in the sport. He mentioned, "He's strategic, he's setting guys up. He's been boxing since a little kid, just like I've been boxing since a little kid, and you can tell with the experience." Rayo Valenzuela also demonstrated his excitement about the mighty fight and stated that it's a great matchup for boxing. While he leaned slightly towards Tank for the win, Valenzuela acknowledged Shakur's exceptional skills. He noted that it wouldn't surprise him if Stevenson managed to outbox Tank or keep him at a distance with his sharp punches. He stated, "I love that fight, man. I think it's great for boxing. It's a good fight. I'd probably have to go a bit with Tank, but Shakur is a hell of a fighter. I wouldn't be surprised if he outboxed him or kept him at the end of his punches." Rayo Valenzuela further elaborated on his thoughts about the potential outcome of a fight between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Tank Davis. He mentioned that if Tank manages to close the distance and land a clean shot, a knockout, KO, is possible. However, if Tank is unable to get close, Valenzuela believes Shakur could win by decision, using his superior boxing skills to keep Tank at bay throughout the fight.
Can you lean towards Tank?
Probably.
Decision or KO?
Probably KO. If he catches them, if he closes the distance. But if he can't, then I would say Shakur by decision.
The coach himself wants this fight to come to reality now and dreams of making it out of talks now. Kenny Ellis, Tank's coach, shared his strong opinion regarding the fight between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson, stating that if it doesn't happen by 2025, it shouldn't happen at all. Ellis believes Stevenson would defeat both Davis and Zepeda with ease, and emphasized that there's no need for further build-up or experience for Stevenson at this stage. According to Ellis, Stevenson's name is big enough now, and fans are eager to see the fight. He argued that waiting until after 2025 would be unnecessary and would diminish the significance of the matchup. He claimed, "If it doesn't happen this year or by 2025, it shouldn't happen. I think he beats both of them, Zepeda and Tank. Easy. His name is big enough. Everybody knows it, and everybody wants it now. Anything after that is just bullshit. So why do it in 2026 if you can't do it now between now and 2025? The other coach, Calvin Ford, or we say Gervonta Davis's coach, acknowledged the financial impact a fight between Davis and Shakur Stevenson would have, confirming that a contract would be sent to Stevenson. However, he clarified that the final decision lies with Davis, given the logistical and financial challenges involved in setting up such a major bout. Ford highlighted the importance of making the fight financially sensible and said, "Yes, we are going to send him a contract, but I don't know when. That's up to Tank. It has to make dollar sense because when you sit there and put a show together, it takes a lot of time and money. Ford also addressed why so many fighters are eager to face Davis, pointing to both the financial benefits and the challenge of competing against one of boxing's biggest stars. He explained Davis's prominent position in the sport, noting that his name is constantly brought up by top fighters on social media. Ford elaborated, "I kept saying all the guys want to fight each other. Tank wants to see them guys. It's just based on if they're fighting Tank for money or if they're fighting Tank thinking they can beat him. Because if you look at the rhythm of social media, everybody always mentions Tank's name." On the other hand, Stevenson's last fight against Artem Harutyunyan ended in a unanimous decision win, marking the first defense of his WBC lightweight title. Stevenson dominated the fight technically, outclassing Harutyunyan with his superior defensive skills and ring control, but the lack of high-action exchanges left some spectators disappointed. The fight highlighted Stevenson's incredible precision and defense, but for those hoping for an aggressive display or knockout, it fell short of expectations, leading to boos and an early walkout from the crowd in his hometown of Newark. Shakur Stevenson addressed the criticism about his fight with Artem Harutyunyan by questioning the double standards applied to him versus other fighters. He pointed out that while his performances are often scrutinized, other high-level fighters like Vasyl Lomachenko don't receive the same backlash for similar performances. Shakur mentioned that even when he is pressing forward and being dominant, people still find something to criticize.
Like if them standards apply to the Lomachenkos of the world or the Usyks, the Usyks of the world.
Usyks or the Lomas, you feel like they don't?
No.
How's it different?
Because I done seen them in fights where it's like, I didn't feel like it was very entertaining, but a lot of people they don't do what they did to like somebody like me. Like when I'm in a fight where I'm dominant, pressing forward, pressing the issue, coming forward, they still find something to say.
Stevenson highlighted that fighters like Lomachenko, who fought less aggressively at times, didn't face the same criticism. He believes that young black fighters like himself are held to different standards, urging his community to support each other instead of feeding into negative narratives. He then added, "I never heard anybody say Lomachenko was boring when he fought Pedraza, or when he barely landed any punches on Rodal. Nobody claimed he was boring for coming forward and making the fight. I feel there's a different standard for young black guys, and our people need to learn how to stand with us, not play against us because we're playing into other people's hands." Eddie Hearn, who recently signed Stevenson to a 2-fight deal with Matchroom, has laid out an ambitious plan. Hearn envisions Stevenson fighting Joe Cordina and then William Zepeda before moving on to the ultimate prize, a mega fight with Gervonta Davis, which he believes could be the biggest fight in boxing by 2025. Chris Algieri shared his insights on the importance of Shakur Stevenson's upcoming fight with William Zepeda well before it became a major talking point. He believed that Zepeda, being an up-and-coming fighter, was exactly the type of opponent Stevenson needed to elevate his career. Algieri emphasized that a win against someone like Zepeda, who is on the rise, would further prove Stevenson's abilities and boost his standing in the division. He mentioned, "This is a fight that I thought was a great idea months ago. I think this is the kind of opponent Shakur Stevenson really needs to showcase his skills. I think if Shakur can go out there and do what he's done with other opposition against a guy like William Zepeda, it will put the division on notice." Algieri also highlighted the contrasting styles of the two fighters, noting that Zepeda's aggressive and high-energy approach would challenge Stevenson's technical skills. He suggested that this clash of styles could address some of the critiques of Stevenson's previous fights, allowing him to deliver an exciting performance and prove his adaptability. He claimed, "Zepeda, known for forcing the action, will bring the kind of intensity that could push Stevenson to showcase a more dynamic side of his boxing." Stevenson's upcoming fight with Joe Cordina is scheduled for October 12th. Cordina, who was stopped in his last fight against Anthony Kakase, will be looking for redemption, but Stevenson remains the clear favorite. What do you think? Could Stevenson's style evolve to match the excitement fans want to see? Or will his technical prowess be enough to carry him through these big fights? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you're excited about the potential Stevenson versus Davis fight, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more updates on all things boxing.